And I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around this. And I was even like, oh, maybe I should talk to some other person about it. And then I was like, I just sat with it, right? And let that come out.
They saw the signs, they read the posts, they watched the videos. They observed the downward spiral in real time, and yet nobody said a word. Because in today's Canada, acknowledging a clear and present danger isn't just inconvenient, it's politically incorrect. So here we are, picking up the pieces after yet another innocent child pays the price for our society's willful blindness. A father, if we can even call him that, was telegraphing his instability for the world to see, broadcasting disturbing messages, admitting to his fractured personas, excusing violent rhetoric as merely working through the shadows, and now the unthinkable has happened. The question isn't just how this happened. The question is, why did no one stop it? You know, every so often we get one of those cases, those horrifying, gut-wrenching stories that make you shake your head and wonder how we got here as a society. A story where all the warning signs were there. The red flags waving frantically, and yet no one dared to say a word for fear of being labeled a bigot. And now a child has been stabbed. A child. And not by some random thug in the street, but by their own father, if we can even call him that anymore. This is the case of Alice Michael Joseph Atwood, a 35-year-old trans-identified male in Alberta, Canada, who was charged with aggravated assault after stabbing his 8-year-old daughter so severely that he severed her esophagus. The little girl remains in hospital and will require a feeding tube for what is expected to be a lengthy recovery. Atwood, who refers to himself as a gender fluid queerdo and uses the she, they, and he pronouns, was arrested, but then released pending trial until his own family petitioned the court for an involuntary psychiatric hold, fearing for the safety of his children, themselves, and the public. And even then, Atwood was reportedly released from the mental health unit earlier than anticipated. Now, since the attack, Atwood has continued posting on social media, openly admitting to stabbing his children. In one chilling Facebook post, he wrote, "For obvious reasons, I'm going to sit and stay silent on the locally viral rumors going around. I understand people's upset, trust it's not as high as my own, and I'm going to answer for what I did. When I can see the picture more clearly, then I will be here to hold myself accountable as well." In a comment below, he explicitly states, "And yes, I stabbed my own daughter in the shoulder and scraped my son's arm. The cause and why are the slander I'm mentioning here. I definitely had some sort of mental break, and that's why I'm in psych." Screenshots from Discord reported by Amy Ham at Redux reveal even more disturbing insights into his mindset at the time of the attack. He wrote, "On the psychology ward, I sort of had a breakdown. My kids are okay, but I did sort of unconsciously stab Mia in the shoulder. I feel terrible." And then he spirals into a bizarre hallucination. "Then I had this feeling in emergency tonight that a ritual was taking place and people didn't even know it. But I watched the whole thing unfold. I even saw an Indigenous queen. She was so regal, literal old lady with her son walking around. All in my head, of course, but it did kind of make me feel better about the whole thing." Well, oh good. Even more disturbingly, Atwood also posted selfies from his hospital bed, seemingly unfazed by the gravity of his actions. When one social media user offered sympathy, Atwood responded, "I've got a lot to go through now, and it'll be a lot of work. But I finally found my friends, and it's all of you. Mod Squad, assemble." This is not just an isolated tragedy or an unpredictable event in this person's life. It's the direct result of a culture that refuses to acknowledge clear mental instability when it manifests in politically protected groups. Atwood had previously posted about being unable to work due to an alleged disability and had set up a GoFundMe to support his children, some of whom he had full-time custody of. He stated he needed funds to ensure his oldest could attend a trans-inclusive school in Calgary, revealing a household where gender ideology and not stability or safety was a priority. And this wasn't just Facebook. On his YouTube channel, where Atwood dabbles in all things occult, Atwood posted a coming out video in which he openly discussed his two personas.
I'm gender fluid. I'm coming out as gender fluid. I am still transitioning, still going to be on HRT. That's obvious. But if you can't tell, this is my masculine energy. This is my, I call it my mic, because I have my mic and I have my alley. And they work together. It's not like DID or anything. I'm still me, right? I'm obviously like it's just an energy within me. It fluctuates and it switches back and forth.
In any other era, this would have been recognized as severe mental illness, a clear-cut case of someone struggling with dissociative tendencies. But today, this is seen not as a warning sign. Instead, it's celebrated. It's called diversity. We're told that recognizing these fractured identities is the right thing to do, rather than asking hard questions about mental stability and fitness to parent. Even more disturbingly, in the same video, he brushed off his aggressive social media posts as simply working through the shadows, a chilling way to reframe violent rhetoric as just a harmless personal journey.
I think that's a lot of the, I'm going to say more aggressive content that I've been putting out recently, the reels and shorts that I do that are, it's my shadow work, right? And it's me working through that shadow part of me and just trying to figure it out. And yeah, it was kind of related. Like, I needed to accept this and I needed to come to terms with it and I needed to just embrace it instead of hiding from it. And
we have a society that tells us to celebrate all of this, but also to affirm it and to bow down to it, because the alternative is to be called transphobic. And so instead of calling out the obvious mental instability, we just let this person remain in control of the children until inevitably disaster struck. And this isn't just about one person. It's about the culture we fostered. We have a system that has completely lost its moral compass. We will remove kids from loving homes for misgendering, but we will leave them in the care of an unstable, violent adult because he claims to be part of the most protected class in the country. And when things explode in our faces, when the ticking time bomb actually goes off, what do the media and activists say? Well, nothing. Silence. They'll ignore it, or worse, they'll find a way to make the perpetrator the victim of all of us. We've seen this before. We'll see it again, because we're not allowed to tell the truth anymore. We are not allowed to say that some people are unwell, that some people should not be around children, even their own, and that playing along with someone's delusions at the expense of innocent lives is not compassion. It's negligence. Alice Joseph Michael Atwood is not some rare anomaly. He's the inevitable outcome of a society that has decided to prioritize ideology over reality and has decided to celebrate the dangerous and deranged while punishing those who speak out. And now a child has paid the price. How many more? For Rebel News, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid. To see stories just like this one, where we at Rebel News have the bravery to do what so many others don't, to tell the truth, please go to transmadness.com.